I was born on the beautiful island of Antigua, a little bit of paradise, and the larger of the twin island state, Antigua and Barbuda. From a very early age, my siblings and I learned the value of being of service to others. We learned that in the public market, helping our grandmother, who was a vendor there. A solid academic background and some skills with a soccer ball enabled me to come to the United States to pursue higher education. Community action found me in the mid-2000s when I was asked to serve on the board of directors of Action for a Better Community, the agency that I now have the absolute privilege of serving as president and CEO.
As CEO of Action for a Better Community, Jerome Underwood has demonstrated a strong commitment to lead ABC back to its roots as a grassroots advocacy organization around issues relative to social justice in our community and nationally. For example, Jerome was instrumental in developing an annual virtual webinar series that looks at some of the most critical issues of our times. Thank you for all that you do, and congratulations for this award.
Throughout the years as a board member, I learned about the history of community action, primarily from my predecessor and mentor, James Norman. I also learned quite a bit from my community action colleagues in our New York State Association, and yes, so many of you in the wider network.
Jerome Underwood is a member of the association's board. His leadership in the network, particularly his leadership in the area of racial equity and justice, has been longstanding. Jerome was instrumental in launching NYSCA's Social Justice Committee and is a valued member, inspiring each of us to do more and do better. Jerome exemplifies the true meaning of this award.
Jerome is a justice hero. From the moment I met Jerome, I knew instantly that he cared about the entire community. And he embodies the spirit of hope with everything he does. His leadership has guided the Equity and Economic Mobility Commission of the National Community Action Partnership and the New York State Community Action Network to ensure that we are creating a sense of belonging for everyone.
I'm fortunate to lead a team of deeply committed people at ABC. This recognition is as much theirs as it is personal. Additionally, and in the realm of iron sharpens iron, I have some sisters and brothers of similar minds who comprise the Greater Rochester Black Agenda Group, the BAG as we call ourselves. When we put our heads together, good things happen for our community. It was the BAG that in May of 2020 declared racism as a public health crisis in Rochester and Monroe County. That, in part, led to NCAP making the same declaration a year later. The knowledge gained from so many, when commingled with my personal growth and development, revealed a very clear picture of what my purpose is. Through these various interactions, I grew to learn that my primary virtue is justice. Seeking it for those who have been marginalized is what I must do.
When I was elected county executive in November 2019, I knew that one of the major challenges in our community was the historical legacy of racism that's denied opportunity to so many of our residents. So I asked Jerome Underwood to co-chair my transition team, and he agreed to do so on one condition. He asked that my administration make a very sincere and public effort to promote racial equity. Jerome is a true community resource on issues of equity and racial justice. I know your dedication and passion will continue to light the way toward a future where equity prevails and the drumbeat of justice grows stronger with every step we take.
Our network, and indeed ABC, came through the birth canal of injustice. We exist to counteract it wherever it stands. One of my favorite quotes regarding this work is by Brian Stevenson of the Empire Justice Initiative. He said, "The opposite of poverty is not wealth. The opposite of poverty is justice." Another favorite is by our very own Lois Carson. She said, "We are justice workers." Truly believe that. And yes, equity is our North Star. The work is difficult, but it is honorable. It requires courage and it requires grit.
Jerome Underwood is a drum major for justice if ever there was one. Under his leadership, Rochester's Action for a Better Community is delivering economic and social justice to our city. I was honored to nominate Jerome for this award because he's putting his drum major instinct to the purpose Dr. King called for: to be there in love and in justice and in truth and in commitment to others so that we can make of this old world a new world. Thank you, Jerome, and congratulations, and thank you to the Community Action Partnership.
Whether it's advocating for closing the racial wealth gap, removing health disparities, obtaining equal pay for women, or making child tax credits permanent, we are committed to equity and justice for all, regardless of where they live, what they look like, or who they love. A famous Rochesterian once said, "Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will."
I am proud and excited that Jerome Underwood is receiving this award. There is no one more deserving. And when I talk about him, what I'm talking about is community, because Jerome does nothing alone. So I think that when we look at this notion of structural inequality, we recognize that people like Jerome have the capacity to make change happen. He sees the possibility of it and insists that it happens. And so what is so exciting about him receiving this award is because he is someone, a man of action, literally of action. Congratulations, Jerome Underwood.
I'm very proud to accept this prestigious Drum Major for Justice Award on behalf of the staff, board, and volunteers of Action for a Better Community. I'm personally filled with gratitude for the recognition and validation of our work. In closing, I must say thank you to my amazing wife, Lorna, our children and extended family who continue to provide immeasurable support, guidance, and unconditional love. Also, I know this makes Granny very proud.